even the East Pakistan is winning the election,
Right.
West Pakistan not giving. And the funny thing about the British, you said they draw the line. When they leave a country in India in 74, they just draw the line. They don't even care about how they're drawing line. They draw on the paper. They don't see exactly on the what's going on the field.
Some of the stuff that, there's a lot of, there's a lot of terrorism going on. Some of it is, from in the north is like the Muslim, you have the Boko Haram and stuff like that. And then you also have, if you come to the south, there's a lot of kidnappers. And then there's a whole new movement again, trying to reestablish, the country of Biafra again, which was the name of the country that was trying to break away, when we had the Civil War. And, but, sometimes it kind of seems like it's like a Muslim versus Christian thing, but it's not always it's not always that simple. A lot of times it's just like, it's more of, people fighting over resources and, somebody, they think that, people are not being taken care of and they're trying to take back what they think what they think is theirs, and then
Channel Kuhu, entertainment, education, and much more.
চ্যানেল কুহু দিয়ে যায় হৃদয় বসন্তের ছোঁয়া।
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Whoever watching this video from anywhere in the world or anytime. This is afternoon in US. I have three honorable guests join with me. I'm Abdullah Jubair, inviting everybody, welcoming my channel. This is new topic we're going to start. From today, we will talk about international politics from US to all over the country, what is going on in the world. And so Mr. Abbas is with us, Mr. Namdi and Amir. So I welcome everybody, and I want you guys introduce yourself first. Mr. Abbas, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. So my name is Abbas A. Adamu. I live in the Bronx, which is in New York State. And I work as an IT consultant. And I'm very, very passionate about international politics. So we're here to have some discussion. Thank you.
Where are you originally from? Where are you born?
Oh, sorry. I was born in Accra, Ghana. Accra is the capital of Ghana, and Ghana is in West Africa.
How long you in America?
I've been in America for 30 years.
30 years. So you very much familiar with both sides.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Abbas.
I have 3 boys who have graduated college and working now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Namdi.
You're welcome.
Yeah. My name is Namdi. I was born in the U.S., but I lived in Nigeria from when I was 2 to 14, and I go back every once in a while. I've been in the U.S. I've been back in the U.S. since 1995, and I work in the IT field. Also work in the military, and then I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, so you born in America, but you travel back to Africa. Which country you again?
Oh, yeah, Nigeria. My parents,
Nigeria.
yeah.
Okay. So you see like in flesh in your eye what going on, like you travel there occasionally, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We will come more question. Mr. Amir, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Amir Khan. I was born in 1989. I also born and grew up in Yonkers, New York, where I currently live. My parents are from India. I graduated Brew College in 2017 with a major in BBA in Computer Information Systems. I currently work in IT field. I am interested in discussing international politics, among other things.
How long did you ever been out India, Amir?
Yeah, I've been. I have the most recent time I've been was this past April and May.
Okay. So the we are asking those questions because once if you see instead of just watching news, if you see yourself on that country, so it will be give more view what is going on there. So let's we discuss about Mr. Abbas. You are was sharing with us before something going on in Times Square, New York. Tell us about that again.
Okay. As usual, after work, Amir and I normally, I think all of us in Namdi, sometimes I walk with Namdi to the train station and towards Times Square to get the shuttle to go to Grand Central. So when I got to exactly 43rd, between 43rd and 44th Street, I saw a group of people, the sign, genocide in Bangladesh, 1971. I took interest in it because I have a very good friend who is Abdullah Iber, to know exactly what happened. So I took a footage of what was happening. I took pictures and all that. And they gave me, I just sent a QR code. I don't know if you guys check your text message. You see that I got the information. And the guy talked to me, the young man talked to me. He said his parents, who are with him here now, fought that war during the genocide. So I should try and also tell people, because that topic is coming for voting at the UN in 3 days, which will be, I think, Monday. But we're having a discussion yesterday, Friday. So I said, today I'll bring this topic so that we can see how we can also propagate this message all over, so that people who can help support this voting to pass through can also hear from us. Because, whatever happens, that's illegitimate in another country. It can happen in your country. So it's always good to support, to stop that. So when I heard the word genocide, I was really, I felt very, very bad why something like that can happen. But I'm yet to do more research to get more information, because that QR code can take you to a website and you can watch the documentary. So I urge everybody to watch that documentary so that our next meeting will have more information to discuss about what happened, so that we can strategize and see whatever we can do to help stop that kind of trend. And that's all I have for now. If some thoughts come, I can continue. So I yield the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Abbas. Yes. So that was about a topic in 1971. When British ruled all over the world, and in 1947, they cannot keep India and subcontinent as their territory anymore. They had to leave this country, so they divided India with these two countries, India and Pakistan. Bit from what like this country before India came, before Pakistan, British, there was a lot of independent country in this region, and some country was even if not independent, they also do have some type of self-independence, self-regulated. But what?
Okay, self-rule.
Yes. So what British did, they just divided everybody between two countries. So now that was a big problem between in America, between that time, and everybody was like during 1971. What happened after British left, like India, Pakistan? None of them like doing very good thing to their minority people. Whoever ruling, like India, in India, part of Bangladesh was a minority, and other few other country area in this state in the India, and Pakistan also have same thing. Pakistani rulers was like more bad. Say they were doing they're trying to take all their whatever happening in Bangladesh. Like Bangladesh was a big country at that time. The population all over the Pakistan, the Bangladeshi people on population wise, it was a majority. So they won every election in 1954 and all other election, and the last election was 1970. So in Pakistani leader Bhutta, he was the opposition leader, People's Party. So in Muslim League and those party, they lost.
Okay.
But they don't want to give the power. They don't want to hand over to Bangladeshi leader. So they start doing some type of like eyewash meeting, but on behind the scene, Indian Pakistani general bringing all their soldier and start killing. So 1971 March 25 night, they start genocide. So my father also was a freedom fighter. He did he fight for country, and he's still alive.
May Allah bless him.
Yeah. So he that the thing you saw they were saying or showing about genocide there. So we always try to promote that, to support us, because what Myanmar doing right now, they're doing the genocide to the Rakhine community. They like thousands of Rohingyas coming to Bangladesh, to Bangladesh giving them shelter. But the amount of people here, Bangladesh is also a poor country. It's hard for us to give them shelter, give them food. But yeah, Rohingya are want to go back, but Myanmar's government, even when Aung San Suu Kyi, he get won the Nobel Prize for Peace, but when she was elected, she support those military government. She not do anything, take any action against military. She even like advocate for military when she came in a United Nations meeting. We had I forget one of the African country, they raised a case against Myanmar, and Aung San Suu Kyi, instead of um, taking good action, she was trying to defend military. So now she get now military is right now what they are doing. There's two group, the fighting inside, and the bombing toward us, like in Bangladeshi border. In Myanmar, government is saying, "Oh, that was mistake," but why will take their mistake, right? They bombing to in our area, our territory, that we see they bombing to our territory. We don't know who is they claiming, or the other party, like the revolutionary people doing. The revolutionary happening for them because the military not giving them their right. That's why they're doing revolution. So it's their fault. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Bas. Mr. Namdi, I know you work in army. You saw, I don't know, you follow this, what were we saying? Do you follow anything about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. I mean, I followed. I followed the. I don't follow it closely, but I follow some of the. I've heard of. Yeah, it was. It was kind of a shock, I guess. Because when Aung San Suu Kyi said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she basically didn't. Because she was talking. I guess when they brought up the issue of the Rohingya people that were being killed. She basically said, she more or less kind of said that they brought it on themselves or something. I can't remember the exact quote, but she was just basically saying, that the Muslims are not good and, things like that. And, a lot of people were shocked and they were like, but, you know, but yeah, it's
What do you think? How that justifies? Let's say Muslim people are not good, but is their country, their citizen, they can kill them?
Yeah.
What? Who are the Rohingya exactly? Are they Muslims within Myanmar?
Yes.
Yeah, this hasn't been getting enough international coverage and outrage, but they claimed the majority of Myanmar's Buddhist country, right? They claim they're peaceful without justification. They're discriminating against Muslims. It's a human rights issue.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess right now, if you're not Saudi Arabia or or one of those other good, quote unquote, good Muslim countries, I guess Pakistan kind of falls into it, maybe sometimes. But a lot of times, they just kind of look the other way when stuff is happening. It doesn't make a lot of. Obviously, if you listen to Al Jazeera and all of that stuff, they usually, they talk about it more. I don't know if they. I don't know if they're still talking about the Myanmar stuff. Well, other than what's the fact that she is back in he's back under house arrest again, because the military took over again. But like all the other stuff, it's not, I mean, it seems to be, they don't talk about it
Yeah.
as much. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's messed up.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
what else, what are you going to say? I mean, it's messed up, but,
It is. I was trying to, I got some information. The African country that raised that questioned Aung San Suu Kyi's activities in about on the Rohingyas is the country is Gambia. It's
Gambia, yes, that's right.
It's the smallest country in Africa, continental Africa, and it was the justice minister and the attorney general of that country. His name is Abubakar M. Tambadou.
That's
He
right.
was the one, yeah. Like what Namdi said. Even I'm telling you guys because I was here when 9/11 happened. Some of our Muslim brothers, we started, especially African, we started naming our kids traditional African name instead of Muhammad, Abbas, Abdullah, and all that. Because you walk into a
Afraid.
place, you now announce your name, they tag you.
I was here also during 9/11. I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, you have a child growing up, he goes to school, his name is, even though I named my son Muhammad, my youngest son, the one who works at, what do we call, Morgan Stanley. But you see, the way he got over it was that they call him Mo. Every Muhammad in America, they say Mo. So most of the time, you don't get the full name Muhammad. So it's sad. So what Namdi is saying is very true. But I hope something happens and that way of thinking can change. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so let's talk about little bit African, what is going on in African country right now.
I'll just start. Namdi, you want to talk first? I think Namdi has muted.
I mean, well, obviously in Nigeria, we have a coming up in 2023. So
yes,
and there's a lot of issues, going on. Obviously, well, Nigeria, until the British came, was kind of, was just, Nigeria is made up of different groups. And, before the British came, all of those groups were, kind of like living on their own and, living their lives and doing their own thing until, 1914 when basically somebody just drew a map and said, this whole area is Nigeria now, and then, they had to find a way to kind of, to govern, to control the place while they were, while the British when it was still a British colony. So you had the three different zones. You had the north, the west, and the east. The protectorates, and they were basically, each protectorate kind of had like their own, they kind of had like their own system of government. The north, which happened to be, Muslim, I mean, their culture were more, they had more of more of a centralized leadership structure. So, which was easy for the British because they can all they have to do is just mess with one person, and then they can get the person on their side. Then basically everybody else will fall in line because they because they follow the leader or whatever. So but so much from in the east, the southeast, which is where I'm from, we're not like almost every, there are a lot of kingdoms in the area, and they're not, everybody kind of like likes to have, they're kind of independent, so you may have a group of people that may, that may side with the, that may support the British crown, but it doesn't mean that everybody else will fall in line. So it was a little bit harder to kind of to maintain control over them. So they kind of had like the northern people. The West also, I guess, with the Yorubas were kind of like that as well. They were kind of a mixture. But anyways, so we so we declared independence in 1961, and we've been, we started off with a parliamentary government, and then that didn't do so well. And then there was like a few coups. And then we had a civil war from 67 to 70, which my dad fought in against Nigeria, because the South wanted to. So basically, the South decide, they saw that, that most of the stuff, a lot of stuff is being produced in the South, but then, it goes, but a lot of the power is from the North. So they basically, they use it kind of to like, to develop their areas, but they don't really do anything for the people in the South. So the South wanted to break away and form their own country so they can control their own stuff, but they didn't, but so there was a war from 67 to 70. The British took the side of the North, and there was like a whole,
Core.
genocide as well, on our side, but but
Yeah, that exactly happened in Bangladesh, Pakistan in 71. Like
right,
Bangladesh people growing a lot of thing there in that time, the tea and lot of other natural resources and natural thing growing in East Pakistan, and West Pakistan was ruling. Even the East Pakistan is winning the election,
right,
West Pakistan not giving. And the funny thing about the British, you said they draw the line. When they leave a country in India in 74, they just draw the line. They don't even care about how they're drawing line. They draw on the paper. They don't see exactly on the what's going on the field. So there is some movie, funny movie, like the movie is saying there is a house. The map is showing drawing the line in between the house. One side in Pakistan, one side in India.
yeah,
So both side of people are killing them. Those one group of people they're killing to get this land, because that's the way British just draw a line in their paper. They don't know what's going on in the field.
yeah. That's Kashmir, right?
No, that specific area I'm talking about, I'm not exactly remember which area it was, but Kashmir also happened the same thing. Bangladesh also happened the same thing. East Bengal and West Bengal, they just divided between Punjab. They just divided Punjab, one part in Pakistan, one part in India. British just draw a line the way they want.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of, so basically, some of the stuff that, there's a lot of, there's a lot of terrorism going on. Some of it is, from in the north is like the Muslim, you have the Boko Haram and stuff like that. And then you also have, if you come to the south, there's a lot of kidnappers. And then there's a whole new movement again, trying to reestablish, the country of Biafra again, which was the name of the country that was trying to break away, when we had the Civil War. And, but, I mean, sometimes it kind of seems like it's like a Muslim versus Christian thing, but it's not always it's not always that simple. A lot of times it's just like, it's more of, people fighting over resources and, somebody, they think that, people are not being taken care of and they're trying to take back what they think what they think is theirs. And then sometimes it crosses the line between it crosses into Muslim and, and Christian, so, but yeah, I mean, so there's a whole, obviously, I mean, the whole thing goes into politics, and then, you have so right now we have, like I said, we have an election coming up next year, and there are three parties, there used to be two, but then one of the candidates broke out of the third. I mean, broke out of one of the parties because he's from the South. He's from my part of the area. He found out. So their party had basically came up with like, they said they were going to have, like they were going to have a president. So first of all, they ruled when they were in power from 1999 to 2015, about 16 years. They said basically like they were going to try to have a president that will be from each of the three major areas in Nigeria. So the first president, Obasanjo, was from the Southwest, so he ruled for 8 years. And then the next person was from the North, Muhammadu Yaradua. And he was supposed to, actually, I can't remember what his first name is, but
Shehu Yaradua.
Yeah, Shehu Yaradua. Yeah, his father was Musa, I believe, when he used to be. I mean, his father used to be a Muslim dictator. I think he was Obasanjo's vice president when he was doing.
He was a general.
Yeah, he was like his second in command when Obasanjo was the head of state, and so basically that's his son, and so it was supposed to be the turn of the North to rule. But the person that they brought in power was sick when he came in office. The guy was on dialysis, and he died 2 years within the office. I mean, into his office. His vice president is from the South, from the Southeast region, and at first they didn't want him to rule because they were saying that because I mean the vice presidential position in Nigeria is kind of like it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's a good name position.
It's ceremonial.
Yeah, it's a ceremonial position, so it's, but, so they were saying, well, but obviously if the president dies, the vice president is supposed to be the next president. But obviously, I mean, they picked the vice president, to appease the people in the South so it can be like two people from the North. But then when the president died, the North was saying, it's their turn to rule. It's still their turn to rule, so they need to pick somebody else, a president from somebody else from the North to be the president. But they were like, well, the vice president is the person that's supposed to take over. So this went on for a few months, and basically the vice president ended up becoming the president. So he finished out the 2-year term, and then he ran for election and then won a 4-year term. And then, while that was going on, the other party, the APC, the original party is the PDP. So the next party, the APC, was also, they didn't have that arrangement in their party. But basically the head of the party is the current president, Muhammadu Buhari. So he also used to be a former military dictator from 1983 to 84. So, so he said, so he ran in, in 2000, he ran in 2006 or 7. Well, he ran in 2006, and then, he didn't win. and he made some unfortunate comments, which, at the time, Boko Haram was was coming up, and he said, he basically said that if he doesn't win, that he was going to make the country ungovernable. And then that was also around the time that Boko Haram was rising and they were doing what they were doing, especially when they kidnapped those kids and the girls in the schools and all of that stuff. So were, so some people are attributing, what happened to him. They're saying that he was the one that caused all of that stuff, which I don't know. I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he said what he said.
Okay.
He
Okay.
meant.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Namdi. We are almost end of our session.
So this is Abbas. Quickly, all that Namdi, the historical events that Namdi enumerated about Nigeria is similar to Ghana. But the only difference was that we had a leader, a guy who was the leader of the most popular party then, when Ghana was fighting for independence. His name is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I want everybody to go to online and Google him and read about him. And the only reason why he was able to play hardball in politics with the colonial masters was that he lived in America in the 30s, 40s, attended Lincoln University, which is in, I think, Pennsylvania. So he knew how to play hardball with them. You always tell him, anytime they confront the colonial masters about independence, they tell Ghanaians that we are not ready for independence. And but he was able to challenge them and tell them that we are ready for self-rule. We want independence now. And they actually put him in prison because of certain incidents. There was something called positive action that took place when he was able to organize a big protest. The whole country, Ghanaians boycotted all the British activities in Ghana. They put him in jail, and he went to court, and he came out victorious and became the leader of government business. That's how it started. And finally, we had independence in 1957. So we had independence before Nigeria. But Ghana was lucky because Ghana wasn't as big as Nigeria. And also, Ghana was basically between the north and the south. It's not like southwest, west, southwest, south, southeast, north, And majority in Ghana, majority of the population are Christians. So Ghana is 33 million. Nigeria is over close to 200 million, right? Namdi, or past that?
Yeah, we're around.
Yeah, 200 million. Yeah. So Muslims are like maybe 30%, and then the traditional religion in Ghana is maybe 10%, and Christians are 60%. So basically, what happened in Nigeria is similar to what happened in Ghana, but Ghanaians, because of certain characteristics of Ghana, they were able to what do we call challenge the British rule and all that. So I would next meeting I'll give more history about after the independence, what went on, and how the British the West was able to come back and arrange and plot a coup in connivance with some military officers in the country, because Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was always never supporting whatever they tell him. If they tell him to go right, he'll ask them why. Left, he will ask them why. He always asked them questions. There was a time even he was trying to build one of the largest hydroelectric power dam in Ghana. They didn't help him. He had to go to the east had to go to Russia, and he was very, very much attached with the non-aligned movement. I don't know if you guys have heard of that because of age, but normally because of your military and you, Abdullah, you might know about non-aligned movement.
Yes.
That was before Russia was broken up. Yeah. So, but next meeting I'll give more details about what I just